Hey everyone, welcome back to Honest Guy. Most of us are terrified of looking dumb. We want to sound smart, have the answer ready, and never ever admit we don't know something. But let me ask you honestly, has that ever actually made your thinking sharper? Or has it just made you defensive, anxious, and completely closed off to learning anything new? Here's the powerful paradox. The more you try to act smart, the dumber your thinking actually becomes. But the more you allow yourself to act dumb, the sharper your thinking gets. Why? Because acting smart usually means protecting what you already know. You cling to your current opinions. You talk more than you listen. You fill in the gaps with assumptions just so you don't look clueless, and that shuts down learning completely. But acting dumb flips the entire script. It means admitting what you don't know, asking the basic, obvious questions, exploring something without your ego getting in the way. And when you do that, you kick open the door to real insight. Psychologists call this the beginner's mind. Kids do this naturally. They ask why 50 times in a row. It's annoying, sure, but it's also the reason they learn faster than adults. We stop doing it because we're embarrassed to look dumb. But here's the twist. The true genius thinkers never stopped. Think about the greatest discoveries in history. They didn't start with someone flexing how much they knew. They started with a seemingly dumb question. Why does an apple fall? Why does light bend? Why does the sky change color? Simple, almost childish questions that cracked open entire fields of science. So how do you use this paradox in your own life? At work, someone explains a complex process you don't fully get. The old move? Nod along, pretend you understand, and then struggle with it later. The new move? Act dumb. Ask the obvious question. Hey, can you walk me through that one more time? For a second, you might feel exposed. But here's the irony. Most people in the room probably had the exact same question. You just became the one who actually got clarity. In relationships, your partner says, "You just don't get it." The old move? Defend yourself, argue, insist that you do get it. The new move? Act dumb. Say, "You're right. I don't fully get it. Can you help me understand?" That so-called dumb move doesn't make you weak. It unlocks real understanding and actually makes you look smarter because you were secure enough to listen. Even in creativity, the people who act dumb experiment freely. They try wild, stupid ideas without worrying if they'll look foolish. Most of those ideas fail, but one hits, and that one is the breakthrough. If you play it safe and try to look smart, you never find that edge. So what's the psychology behind this? It's ego defense. When your identity is tied to being the smart one, you ignore anything that threatens that image. You dismiss new ideas, you avoid admitting mistakes. That keeps you permanently stuck. But when you give yourself permission to look clueless, those ego defenses drop. You're suddenly free to absorb, to test, and to actually think. Here's a simple trick to build this habit. Next time you're learning something new, pretend you have to explain it to a 5-year-old. If you can't, admit it to yourself and ask the dumb questions until you can. That's not weakness. That's the pursuit of clarity. Even Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Genius often looks dumb at first. Another practice, flip your assumptions. Instead of starting with, "I already know," start with, "What if I know nothing?" That tiny shift changes everything. You notice details you'd normally skip. You see patterns others miss. You think from the ground up instead of just layering guesses on top of guesses. And the research backs this up. Studies on problem solving show that people with a beginner's mindset generate far more creative solutions than those relying only on their expertise. Expertise can narrow your thinking. Curiosity expands it. Acting dumb forces that curiosity. So let me ask you honestly, what would happen if you stopped pretending to be smart? What if you started asking the questions everyone else is too scared to ask? Here's the paradox one more time. The smartest move you can make is to stop performing intelligence. Act dumb. Ask, listen. Experiment. That's how you cut through the noise of assumptions and actually think with clarity. Because acting dumb doesn't mean you are dumb. It means you're bold enough to look past appearances and get to the truth. And the truth, no matter how awkward or simple it looks, is always where genius thinking begins. If you're still watching, you're clearly ready to think smarter. Hit that like button and subscribe to Honest Guy for more content that cuts through the nonsense. Thanks for watching.